you log in, I want you to follow a certain syntax as your username. So I would request you to put your PRN number without letter S. So put PRN number underscore your name. This will be the format in which you will be entering the class. Is it very clear, Sridhar?
Yes, sir.
Most of you have put roll numbers, I guess. So just change it to PRN number and your name. That is my request. Those who have not put anything, please follow this meticulously. Now, let us go ahead with today's discussion. So first of all, I am going to brief you about the structure of the course and how the assessment of the course goes. So you are well aware that this is 3+1 credit course. Are you aware of this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
three credits are there for theory and 1 credit is there for lab. For this division, all the 4 batches I am handling the lab. So theory as well as lab will be handled by myself. So I will explain the intricacies of all the exercises that we are going to do under lab later. But right now, let us focus on theory. So this 3 credit course, these 3 credits of theory, this imply that we are going to meet 3 times a week. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So we are going to meet for 3 times a week for 1 hour. And it has assessment of 2 components. One is class continuous assessment and another is end term exam. This CCA, that is class continuous assessment, is composed of 3 things. One is your regularity, then your assignments, your midterm examination, and one more thing, your group activity. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So how many assignments I am going to give in this course? So I am going to give you 2 assignments on statics and 2 assignments on dynamics. So 2 plus 2, total 4 number of assignments will be spread through the entire trimester. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Then you are going to have a group activity which you will perform in group of not more than 4 students. So we will go ahead with this little later. Midterm examination, anyway, that means its assessment depends on how you perform there. And end term examination is for 50 marks. Class continuous assessment is also for 50 marks. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And lab assessment is for 50 marks. How am I going to assess the lab work? That we will see during our interaction in lab. So with this background, are you very clear how this course goes?
Yes, sir.
We will be meeting for around 15 weeks. So approximately we will have 45 to 50 lectures. So with this background of the course, let us now begin with the actual technical content of the course. Before that, it's not a 11th or 12th standard course. Therefore, I am not going to dictate you any notes. Let me be very clear on that. So what are we going to do during our course interaction? I am going to explain the concepts, and then we are going to solve numericals. So it is expected that every one of you should carry a scientific calculator during this course interaction. That is the first thing. Second thing is, whatever concepts that we discuss, I expect that you have a notebook in front of you and use the top 1/4 top quarter page to write down these concepts in shorthand. Later on, you can refer the books that I suggest, and then you can consolidate your notes on your own. It's not a 11th or 12th standard course, so no dictation of notes, nothing. Numericals you will solve with me, so those will be preserved in your notebooks. Am I very clear about the way we are going to proceed, Sriram?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Another part of this course interaction will be randomly I will ask 4 or 5 students to unmute during a lecture. So we are going to interact and we are going to solve the numericals, or we are going to discuss the concepts. It is not going to be one way. Whenever I pronounce a name, the person has to respond. Then only I will understand that he is present in the class physically and mentally. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us now begin with the very first technical term in this course, and that is mechanics itself. So what do you understand by mechanics? Sriram, can you tell me what is mechanics?
Mechanics is the study of uh, statics and dynamics of a body.
If we define mechanics that way, the next question I'm going to ask is what is statics, and what is dynamics? So before that, let us rephrase this definition. What we say, what we understand is mechanics is studying effects of forces on the bodies. Are you with me?
Right. Yes.
So by word mechanics, what we mean is we are going to study effects. Kiske? Forces ke. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So studying effects of forces on the body by definition is termed as mechanics. Then there is a theoretical part. There are branches of mechanics like Newtonian mechanics and relativistic mechanics, that is Einstein's mechanics. We are going to deal with Newtonian mechanics. Then we are going to talk about statics, dynamics, and whatnot. But let us preserve it for later. Let me first ask you now, if mechanics is a branch of science that deals with studying effects of forces on the bodies, let me first ask you a fundamental question. What do we understand by a force? Are you with me? So, Sriram, can you tell
Yes.
me what is your understanding of a force?
Force is the external action on a body at rest or at moving at a constant speed that changes either its direction or its velocity.
Very good. So, what you are basically telling me is the statement of one of Newton's laws. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
And what
Yes,
is
sir.
that? What is that law? Is it first, second, or third?
About first law, Newton's law of motion.
First.
First Newton's law of motion.
Very good. So let me reiterate Newton's first law. Every body continues to remain in its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line unless it is acted upon by an external agency called as force. That's what we are invoking, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in textbooks, you will find the definition of force written in this fashion. It is very similar to this statement of Newton's first law. Force is an external agency that tends to change the state of rest or of uniform motion of a body along a straight line. Have you read this statement?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the process of understanding definition of a force, we are also trying to understand Newton's first law. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So let me write down this. Let us understand this Newton's first law bit carefully. It has two parts. The first part says, let us say the body is at rest. This is the duster kept on the tabletop. And any external agency that is tending to change the state of rest of this body. That means any external agency that tries to put this body on motion, I am going to call it as a force. Am I right?
Yeah, right, sir.
Yes. So for one thing that you must carefully understand here is the phrasing of this statement. Any external agency that tends to change the state of rest. Tends ka matlab hai, the success is immaterial. So let us say I apply, means I use an external agency to move this duster, but that external agency is not successful in doing so. It is not able to move this duster. But still, as long as it tends to change the state of rest of the duster, I am going to call it as a force. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
This is the point to be noted. Success is immaterial. As long as the external agency tends to change the state of rest of a body, I am going to call it as a force. चलो अब इसी लॉ का सेकंड पार्ट देखते हैं. If a body is moving with uniform velocity along a straight line, any external agency that tends to change either magnitude or direction of velocity, I am going to term it as a force. Do you agree with me? This is the meaning of
Yes.
second part. Of course, the success is immaterial here as well. Even if the external agency doesn't succeed in changing either the magnitude or the direction of this velocity, still I am going to term that as a force. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Now I have an interesting question to you. Is this the definition of a force, or are these the effects of the force?
These are the effects of the force.
Exactly. So how do we can configure a quantity merely knowing few of its effects is the objection to this definition. Are you with me?
Yes,
A
sir.
doctor may have two patients with similar symptoms when repeating fever for 15 days. One may be diagnosed with heart disease, another may be diagnosed with COVID-19. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, merely looking at the effects, we cannot define the quantity, and therefore, Newton putting Newton's first law as a definition of a force has a philosophical objection. These are effects of the forces and not the force in itself. I hope you have understood what I am trying to say.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Now you can mute yourself. I want now Siddhant to unmute himself. Siddhant, roll number 32, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, as the Newton's first law clearly fails to define a force, do you have any alternative description for a force? जो अब तक आपने सीखा है, बोलो.
Uh, right.
Okay, Siddhant, you keep yourself unmuted for some time. I request others to unmute themselves and let me know what do they understand by force. Just unmute
Sir, can
yourself. Yeah,
Sir,
please.
sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
actually, as per the definition of force,
Yes, go ahead.
yes, sir. Actually, force is, I think, not a kind of single. Sir, actually, I could just relate it in terms of a relative terms. You know, like if I'm actually while dealing with the force, we can't just say that it is only. It could be only acting over one object only. Like it usually happens in the case of relative terms. Like if I'm just giving a kind of definition of it, then I would say that it would be a kind of pull or push over a particular object, and that would go
Okay.
some another object. So in that manner,
So what I can understand, Amit, what I can understand from your definition is the force doesn't act in isolation; it acts in pairs. Do you agree with me? That's what you are trying to say.
yes.
Is it correct, Amit? Amit, can you unmute yourself? Yes.
Yes.
And you also said that it is a push or a pull.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. So let us now first discuss this. So when Amit says that force acts in pairs and doesn't act in isolation, he is perfectly right, but he is then talking about Newton's third law. Newton's Siddhant. Are you there? Please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
So are you aware of Newton's third law?
Yes, sir.
What is Newton's third law? Every action has equal and opposite reaction.
Opposite reaction.
So therefore, the forces, may they be active or reactive, they do not act in isolation. They act in pairs. That's what the Amit was pointing out, that it acts in pairs. But again, this cannot be treated as a definition of a force. This is a characteristic of a force. Do you agree with me, Siddharth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then, therefore, we understand that even Newton's third law fails to define what a force is. It just gives you the characteristic of a force, that the forces do not exist in isolation, they do exist in pairs. Itna hi batata hai. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next word that he tossed was it is pull or push. So, Siddhant, can you define what do you mean by a pull or what do you mean by a push?
Pull as in pull.
So, if this is the object, is this a pull or is this a push?
That push.
Is it a
From
push? It's pull. If the same force, if I shift it here, then that is a push. Do you agree with me?
okay. Yes.
So we understand what do we mean by pull or push, but the question is, can it be defined as a definition of force? The answer is no, because pull is a kind of a force and push also is a kind of a force. So pull and push are descriptions of nature of a force. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So therefore, pull and push are natures of a force. What kind of force it is? So it cannot be defined as it doesn't give us the definition of force in nature. Now, anyone else has any
Sir,
other
Can I?
question? Yes,
So
go
can
ahead.
I?
Yes, go ahead.
sir, actually, oh,
Force is, we can say, the rate of change of momentum.
Okay, so I'm going
Change
to
in
take
momentum
that.
of a body.
Yes, yes. So yes, I'm going to consider your definition and I'm going to write it as force. Let us say in x direction. X direction is any randomly chosen direction. Force in x direction, by his definition, is rate of change of momentum, which is mass into velocity with reference to time in x direction. Am I right? Yes, that's what you are pointing out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a few questions. Amit, can you keep yourself unmuted? Amit,
yes, sir.
yes. So now tell me, can I take this mass outside the derivative sign? Bolo. Question is, can I take the mass outside the derivative sign?
Yes, sir.
And why do you think so?
So because it could be considered as a kind of constant value because mass is definitely going to be constant. It would not gonna change.
Now imagine that you are putting a satellite in an orbital. A rocket takes that satellite to a certain height. Mass, certain mass is shaded at that height, and then the satellite goes into its orbital. While the rocket moves from one place to another, per second, thousands of gallons of fuel is being consumed. Do you expect the mass to remain constant always?
No, I don't think so. In that case, definitely it's
Exactly.
gonna be.
So once we specify this equation, there are two situations. Situation number one, in which the mass is constant, then I can take it outside the derivative sign. And situation number two, in which the mass is not constant. At that time, I will have to use chain rule. It will be dm by dt into v plus m into dv by dt in x direction. Do you agree with me? Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so fortunately, as this is the first course in mechanics, introductory course in mechanics, we are going to deal with situations where mass remains fairly constant throughout the observation of the motion or observation of the phenomena. Therefore, can I say this Fx equal to mass, let us keep it outside, and dv by dt is nothing but the acceleration in x direction. Do you agree with me? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, keep yourself unmuted. We are going to have an interesting discussion now. Now,
Yes.
let us imagine there is a wall. I am drawing its sectional view. And you are standing right next to the wall.
Okay.
We have not yet defined a force, but let us say you are applying a force on wall. Are you able to imagine this situation? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want to write down this force using this relation. Chalo. So let us call this direction as x direction. So how should I write down this force? Tell me. I know that I am applying a force, but I have not yet defined a force. So कैसे लिखें?
So I think the acceleration would be negative.
Okay, no problem. There won't be any acceleration. Can you move the wall by your hand?
No, no, no.
So therefore, the very first question that I am going to ask you is, if I have to substitute mass here, whose mass should I substitute? Should I substitute mass of a person, mass of a palm, mass of a wall? किसका? बोलो.
Sir, wall, I think.
And why do you think so? There is no compelling reason. I can argue that you need to substitute the mass of a person. I can
So
argue that.
because I am applying the force on the wall,
And
so
do you
that
think
much,
wall is not going to apply a reaction on you?
yes, so the reaction force will also be there, right, by the wall,
Yes.
but that reaction force is greater than my force. Means it is
How do you
able to,
say that? If
eh,
reaction
I am
force is greater, no. If reaction force is greater than you should keep on moving towards right.
yes, but because of friction, that is not happening.
No,
I am a,
we will talk about whether the
Reaction
reaction
force
force
is
is
equal.
greater or less later. But what I want to point out is, see, when I arbitrarily say that this is the situation, it is very difficult to understand किसका mass substitute करना है. Let us
yes,
say I am talking about the reactionary force offered by wall on you. Should you be considering the mass of yourself as a total body, or should you consider the mass of only palm? These are the questions that are ambiguous. Do you agree with me?
yes.
Okay. Next question that I am going to ask you is, acceleration किसका substitute करना है? Whose acceleration? Should I
So
substitute
there
the
is no
acceleration
net
of
acceleration. There is no net acceleration only.
uh,
Is
in
you
this
can consider,
case, yes, in this case it is not there, but if it would have been there, तो किसका substitute करना है? Should it be the acceleration of wall? Should it be acceleration of you? Should it be acceleration of your hand? किसका? So you will agree with me that in the definition of this force, we do not clearly specify कि किसका mass substitute करना है और किसका acceleration substitute करना है. Do you agree with me?
yes,
Definition में explicitly दिया नहीं है. But now let us keep these questions aside for time being. If I consider acceleration of wall or acceleration of yourself, the person who is
okay,
applying force on wall, in this case it is going to be zero. Why? Because the velocity is in x direction is zero, and therefore and it remains zero, therefore the acceleration in x direction must be zero. किसी का भी हो, wall का या आपका. Do you agree with me?
yes,
So I get an idiotic result that the force I am applying on the wall is zero.
yes,
Do you agree with me?
yes.
And how do we justify this? By the way, ये जो statement आपने बोला, इसको क्या बोलते हैं? What do
It's
we call it
second
as?
law of Newton.
Yes. So we call it as Newton's second law. Do you agree? So in the definition of force, we have also learned all Newton's laws. Do you agree with me?
Yes,
And now, what I'm going to say is crucial. Unfortunately, the books give Newton's second law statement in this form, but it is incorrect statement, because you will see, you will not be able to explain this situation. Are you with
yes,
me?
yes.
If I
In the
stand like
12th,
this,
in the
yeah, go
12th, we
ahead.
had this definition. This
Yes.
definition we had.
And unfortunately, the books give that definition in this form, but you have to get rid of it because it is incorrect description of a force. The left hand side is incorrect. Left hand side is not force in x direction, it is unbalanced force in x direction. Are you with me?
Yes.
So I have
Newton
to say
effect.
summation of all the forces acting in x direction with sign has to be equal to, summation with sign has to be equal to mass into acceleration in that direction. Now, am I very clear?
Yes.
Now let us revisit this example. So when I say summation effects, I have to first define the body. कौन से body के ऊपर I am taking the summation? Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So when I'm talking about the force applied by a person on the wall, I will be doing summation of all forces on wall, obviously. Are you
Yes.
with me?
Yes.
So therefore the question of which body is now answered. जिसके ऊपर आप summation of forces ले रहे हो, वो body. So I am now considering summation of all the forces acting on a wall. So कौन से force wall के ऊपर act हो रहे हैं? The force that you are applying, do you agree with me?
Yes.
And the reaction that this floor provides.
And the normal.
That's all. These are the two forces that are going to act. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Now, as long as this F and R are same, the wall will not move, and therefore I can say R is equal to F. In that case, summation of all the forces in x direction turns out to be zero. Do you agree with
Zero.
me?
Yes.
And then the right hand side is zero. Now I am talking about acceleration of wall, mass of wall as well, because now I am talking about summation of forces in x direction on wall. Happy?
Yes.
So therefore, Newton's second law gives you the relationship between mass of a body, acceleration of a body, and unbalanced force acting on a body. Do you agree with
Yes.
me?
Yes.
But when you calculate unbalanced force acting on the body, first you should be defining what is a force. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So therefore, even Newton's second law tragically fails to explain what a force is. Happy?
Yes.
So in the process, let us quickly summarize हमने क्या क्या learn किया है. We have learned all the three laws of Newton. I am not going to now separately teach them. Newton's first law, we talked about what it is. Every body continues to remain in a state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line unless it is acted upon by an external agency called as force. Newton's third law. What does Newton's third law say? Every action has equal and opposite reaction. That means the forces do not exist in isolation. They do exist in pairs. Are you with me? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Please keep yourself unmuted for some time.
Yes, sir.
And then we also learn Newton's second law, which gives you the relationship between unbalanced force acting on a body in a particular direction, its mass, and the acceleration of that body in that direction. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
This is the scalar form of Newton's second law. What is the vectorial form of Newton's second law? Summation of all
F
the
bar.
forces acting on a body, F bar, is equal to mass,
M
which is a scalar quantity, into A bar.
E bar.
And this law, this statement is true only and only when the mass remains constant throughout the observation period.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes. Yes,
So
sir.
we are very clear on definitions of all Newton's laws, but still we don't have a clarity on what a force is. Are you with me?
Yes.
So mind you, Newton never tried to define a force. The force was already defined as a notional object, as a notional quantity in mechanics. And how do we define the force? So if you refer good books in physics or mechanics, you will learn this definition. Force is action of one body on the other. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? बोलो फिर से रिपीट करो.
Action of one body on another.
Yeah, so action of one body on another is by definition a force. Now this definition जो बोला गया है इसमें वो तो है ही, बट जो बोला नहीं गया है वो भी चीजें इसमें हमें समझनी चाहिए. So there are many unsaid things in this, but which are implicitly conveyed. So when I say force is the action of one body on the other, what does it mean? Yes, go ahead. So when we say,
sorry to interrupt you, but sir, can't we just say that as per this, so as per this definition, can't we just say that it is somewhat relating to this third law of Newton only?
no,
Because again,
it is
related.
no, Amit, let me clarify that. Newton's third law gives you the relationship between the action of one body on the other and its reaction on the first body. वो relationship है, they are equal. But even before the Newton's third law was tossed in classical mechanics, the force was defined in this fashion. It is the action of one body on the other. Even before we knew that जो action है वो reaction के जितने ही है उतना ही बराबर है, उससे पहले भी ये definition आया था. And now I am trying to highlight the key features or the points that you should read in this definition which are not explicitly given. So when we say the force is action of one body on the other, it indirectly says that there cannot be a force if there are no two bodies. Are you with me? Yes.
Yes.
So for existence of a force,
Yes, sir.
two bodies are.
Sir, but
Yes,
won't
go ahead.
this be similar to the third law?
That's what I right now said. The third law gives you the relationship between action and reaction.
Okay.
Third law the focus of Newton's third law is on saying that the action is equal to reaction. Whereas if you read this statement, it never says whether the actions and reactions are equal or not. It simply defines a force. That's the difference. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
But what it says is two bodies are required to have a force. Uske bina force nahi hoga. So in this universe, if there is an isolated body, the mechanics doesn't come into picture. We do not talk about the force there. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the thing implicitly said in this is there are absolutely two bodies are required for existence of a force. The second thing that is not said in this statement directly, but it is conveyed implicitly is, yes, tell me, should these two bodies be in contact for existence of a force?
Yes.
Imagine that I am dropping a chalk piece on the earth. What kind of force is acting on this chalk piece? Tell me.
Gravitational force. The
And what
force
are
of
the two bodies involved?
the
कौन से दो
ground,
bodies involved? Earth?
ground and the chalk, earth and the chalk.
Yes. So these two bodies, are they in contact?
No, but they are going to be in contact. The force which will be calculated when the chalk hits the ground.
No. So do you mean to say when the chalk falls from this height, the gravitational force is not acting?
It's acting.
It's acting. So when it is acting, till it hits the ground, are the bodies in contact?
No.
But is the force prevalent between them?
Yes.
Now consider the example of Earth and Moon. Is there a gravitational force between them?
Yes.
Are they in contact?
No.
Now consider a case where magnet is attracting a pin, but they are not yet in contact. Is there a magnetic force? Are they in
Yes.
contact? No. So therefore, this definition implicitly does not specify that it is action of one body on the other which is in contact. ऐसे बोला है क्या नहीं बोला है? Are you with me? So
Yes.
therefore, the contact between the two bodies is not necessary. Are you with me?
Yes.
The force can prevail between the two bodies even when the bodies are not in contact. For example, gravitational force. Another example is electromagnetic force. Are you with me?
Yes.
So contact is not mandatory, is implicitly said in the definition. Not directly, but implicitly. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, the next thing that you should learn from this definition is this. Let us consider an thought experiment, Yash. Let us say
Yes.
you are hitting your palm of left hand by the fist of right hand. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now tell me, what are the two bodies that are involved?
The palm and the fist.
Okay. Are these biologically different bodies or same body?
Different.
Biologically.
Same. Biologically same.
So therefore, we have to also understand what is the notion of a body. Notion of body in physics is different than notion of body in biology. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So we are going to meticulously define for a given particular phenomena, what do we understand by a body? What are its boundaries? Are you with me?
Yes.
So when I say force is action of one body on the other, it makes it imperative that I must understand clearly what do I mean by a body. Are you
Yes.
with me?
Yes.
देखो कितनी चीजें इस सिंपल डेफिनेशन में बोली गई है. Now, the next thing that I'm going to ask you is, consider the same example. You are hitting the palm of left hand by fist of right hand. Now tell me, who is applying force on whom?
The fist is applying on the palm,
And won't palm react?
and the palm will react.
Okay. So this definition in also some sense conveys the remote message, that the forces do not exist in isolation. When one body applies the force on other has to respond. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
Imagine that you are moving your face with the same velocity as the approaching hand. You will not be able to slap the person. Are you with me?
Yes.
So therefore, unless there is reaction, there cannot be action, and vice versa. Therefore, the forces will not exist in isolation. They will exist in pairs. It's also remotely said in this definition.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
What is not said is the action and reaction are equal. ये नहीं बोला है. Are you with me?
Yes.
That is Newton's third law. So now you have to understand whether it is Newton's first law, whether it is Newton's second law, or whether it is Newton's third law. It tries to characterize either a force or its effects. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes.
All the Newton's third law, they try to characterize either the force in itself or their effects. But the definition of force is classically accepted as this: it is action of one body on the other, and it gives you the flavor of all these 4 points. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. Now let us go ahead, and now let us go ahead with the next point in line. What is the complete description of a force? Complete
Description
description
of force.
of a force. Now I will ask you a question. Let us say I ask you, uh, consider any point in the room where you are sitting, and what is the temperature at that point? So what will be your answer? Tell me.
Room temperature
Yeah, but what will be
20,
the answer? Typically, what will be the value?
24 degrees.
Yes. So when I asked you about temperature, you answered me that at a given point in a space, temperature is 24 degrees Celsius. So what
Yes.
are the things that are involved in this description that make the unique understanding out of it? The first thing is the system of units. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So I can as well tell the temperature in degree Kelvin. I can tell it in degree Fahrenheit. Are you with me?
Yes.
But when I say it in degree Celsius, we have a notion of what notion
The
of
unit.
something related to degree Celsius. For example, we know that at 4 degrees Celsius, water shows anomalous behavior. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So we understand how what is 0 degree, how does it feel? So therefore, degree Celsius is the unit. This is important. So one of the descriptors is unit. Happy?
Yes.
And what is this 24? It is
The
the
value.
magnitude in specified system of units. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Now, if I ask you in which direction, probably you will slap me and you will leave this meeting. So therefore, there are certain quantities which are entirely defined by the magnitude in specified system of units. Such quantities are termed as what? Tell me.
Scalars.
Yes. So we call such quantities as scalars. Easy, right? You have learned it already. Happy?
Yes.
सो स्केलर्स से ज्यादा डिस्क्रिप्शन जिनको चाहिए ऐसे क्वांटिटीज को हम क्या बोलते हैं बोलो
Vectors.
वेक्टर सो वन ऑफ द क्वांटिटीज दैट रिक्वायर इवन मोर रिगरस डिस्क्रिप्शन देन a scalar is vector. Are you with me? Can you give me the example of a vector?
Velocity.
Yes. So velocity is a vector quantity, and typically vector quantity will be completely described by what? Tell me.
So its direction,
Its direction,
its magnitude, its
its
unit.
magnitude in specified system of units. So
Unit.
this magnitude and unit I am going to club together. Are you with me?
Yes.
So magnitude in the specified system of units. Just give me a minute.
Yes. Sir.
So magnitude in a specified system of units and direction. Typically, that's what a mathematician will say. Vector is defined by this quantity. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
And now tell me, on lines of this definition, is force a scalar quantity or a vector quantity?
Vector quantity.
Yes. So we also write force under this category. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So what should be the complete description of a force?
It is force is action of one body on another in a specified direction.
Correct. So what is the complete description? As how do we define vectors completely? By its direction and by its magnitude. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So if we are mathematicians, we will be happy with this description of a force, that you give me the magnitude and you give me the direction and the force is completely defined. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
But now as a physicist, we should differ. Why? Because let us consider an thought experiment. Let us consider a body. अब जरा याद ध्यान दो, it is not a biology class and it is not amoeba. When I draw such weird shapes in mechanics, what I mean is the shape and size of the body is immaterial. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
It can be a duster, it can be a bicycle wheel, it can be a spoke, it can be a chair, it can be tabletop, it can be mobile, water bottle, anything. Are you with me?
Yes. Yes.
Whenever I am not interested in shape and size of the body, also its analytical formulation does not involve shape and size of the body. At that time, I am free to show the body by an arbitrary shape. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I am going to consider two forces acting on this body. जरा देखो दो forces consider करने वाला. Let me call this force as P bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And let me call this force as Q bar. P bar is 10 I cap plus 20 J cap. Are you with me?
Yes.
Plus 30 K cap. So when I write down the force in this format, I must be using some Cartesian coordinate system. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So this is X, this is Y, let us say, and this is Z. Unit vectors along X, Y, Z are denoted by I cap, J cap, and
J
K cap.
cap,
And
K
this
cap.
is, yes, and this is the magnitude, and this is the description of force P as a vector quantity, P bar. That's what I write. And I have to also mention the unit. So I will write it as Newton. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay. And Q bar, interestingly, also has the same description. It is also 10 I cap. Are you with me?
Yes.
Plus 20 J cap plus 30 K cap.
Okay.
And in Newton's itself. Chalo, are these two forces having same magnitude?
Yes.
Obviously, because what is the magnitude of this force? Square root of 10 square plus 20
Of
square
square
plus
plus
30
20
square.
square plus 30 square.
Yes. And same is the magnitude of Q. So magnitude is same. Are these two forces having same directions? Of course,
Yes.
IJ to same description hai. So therefore direction is also same. Are these two forces same?
No,
Why?
because they are originating in different points in the body.
Precisely put. So if I apply force P on the body, point A will have a pull, whereas if I apply this force on point, means if I consider Q bar, it is going to pull point B. Are you with me?
Yes.
It's like the P will pull your ear and Q will pull your leg. Are you with me?
Yes.
So therefore, there is something missing in this description. Merely by vectorial definition of direction and magnitude, I cannot define the force in its totality because it is going to have different effect. Something is not addressed. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So chalo, what is that which is not addressed? Tell me.
The originating point of the force.
Yes. So we call that point as point of application of a force. What do we call it as?
Point of
POA.
application.
Point of application of a force. So I understand merely vectorial representation of a force will not do. As a physicist, I need to know what is the point of application. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Along with point of application in this description itself, once I know this 10 I cap, 20 J cap and 30 K cap, do I know the angles made by this P with X, Y, Z axis? Direction cosines pata hai kya?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I know these angles. Let us say it makes an angle of theta with x-axis, alpha with y-axis, and beta with z-axis. I know all those angles. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
These three angles define orientation of this line. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So in a chosen coordinate system, orientation of line of action of a force is also important. So if I extend this line of force up to infinity on this side as well as up to infinity on the other side, I get line of action of force P bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if I extend this line up to infinity and this line up to infinity on this direction, I get line of action of Q bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So the second thing that I must know is orientation. Orientation of line of application of a force. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
So line of action of a force, that's what we call. LOA is line of action.
Application of
So
force.
orientation of line of action of a force with reference to a chosen Cartesian coordinate system is also important. Happy?
Yes.
Now, I will add the third force on this body. I am going to call it as R bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
And that R bar also have the same description. 10 I cap plus 20 J cap plus 30 K cap. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now tell me, let us consider now Q bar and R bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
In Q bar and R bar, is magnitude same?
Yes.
Is point of application same?
No, sir.
In Q bar and R bar?
Points are different. Q bar
How?
and R bar.
Yes.
Points are different. Because
How?
R bar is behind, no?
No, both the forces are applied at this point itself.
Then same.
Same. No? That's what I said. How I define
Yes.
R bar? R bar is also applied at B. Q bar is also applied at B. Are you with me? So point of
Yes, sir.
application is same. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
Is orientation of line of action same?
Yes.
Yes. So magnitude भी same है, point of application भी same है और orientation of line of action भी same है Q bar और R bar के लिए. Are these two forces same?
The direction.
Answer is no, because
No.
if you consider Q bar, it's like pulling your ear. If you consider R bar, it is like pushing your ear.
Pushing.
Are you with me? So therefore now comes the third thing in the definition of a force, and that is called as sense. Are you with me?
Yes.
So what is the sense of a force at that point of application is the third thing. It can be either pushing or pulling. Are you with me?
Yes.
So somebody had already pointed out this earlier, I think Amit. So push and pull, these are the descriptors of a force. Are you with me? So sense
Yes.
is the third thing. Now these three things together, as a physicist, we call it as direction. Are you with me?
Yes.
So what are the complete descriptors of a force? There are three descriptors. कौन से है? One,
Point of action.
no,
It's-
one, it is magnitude in specified system of units. First, second is point of application. Third is orientation of line of
Action.
action. And third is sense of a force at point of application. Are you with me?
Yes.
Now in tomorrow's class, we are going to define something called as rigid body. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Once we define rigid body, you will see that point of application and sense, these descriptors need not necessarily be specified for forces acting on rigid body. So in that case, we will agree with mathematicians and we will go ahead with this description of a force. Are you with me?
Yes.
So we are going to deal with the definition of rigid body in the next class, and in this course mostly we are going to deal with rigid bodies. Therefore this kind of description of a force is all right for us, but you have to keep in mind that the complete description of force is only through all these four: magnitude, point of application, orientation of line of action, and sense. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now I will go to the last point of today's discussion as per the agenda that I have set. I will have a very brief description of that and then we will stop for today. So the next point of discussion is moment of a force. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now till 11th and 12th standard, you have used the word torque. Have you?
Yes.
Now hereafter, we are never going to use the word torque for a reason. Are you with me? Torque ये word
Yes,
हम
sir.
कभी भी use नहीं करेंगे. Either we will say it is moment of a force or we will say it is couple moment. Why? I will clarify that little bit later. But how do we define moment of a force? तो वो पहले एक बार देख लेते हैं. And then we will stop for today. So let us say this is force F bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
It is acting at this point of application. I am going to call this point as A. Are you with me? And this is the Cartesian coordinate system that we have chosen. Happy?
Yes, sir.
X, Y, Z. Now, what I am going to do is I am going to join this origin with this A, and this vector directed towards point of application of force from origin, I am going to call it as R bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
It is the position vector of point of application of F bar. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Position vector of point of application of F bar. By definition, we define moment of a force F bar about O as R bar cross F bar. Are you with me?
Yes.
क्या definition है? So let us say I have to find out the moment at some point of a force F bar. Consider that point as origin. Pass Cartesian coordinates through that point. Join the point of application of that force with the origin. Call that vector as R bar. Take the cross product of R bar and F bar. That gives you the moment of force F bar at that point O. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
So if I want to find out the moment of force F bar at point A, at point B, what should I do? I should consider point B as a origin, pass Cartesian coordinates through B. Are you with me? Are you with
Yes.
me here?
Yes, sir.
Then join this origin with A, call that vector as R bar cross F bar then will be the moment of force F bar about B. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have defined now unambiguously what is the moment of a force. What is its physical meaning? That we are going to see in the next class. But we will solve a small example on this and then we will stop. So let us say F bar is 10 I cap plus 20 J cap plus 3K cap. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
In Newton. Now, tell me what will, and it is acting at a point A which has coordinates 3, 3, 3. So can you tell me how do I write R bar?
3I cap plus 3J cap plus 3K cap.
Yes. So how do I write R bar? R bar is the vector directed from O to A. O के coordinate 0, 0, 0 है. A के coordinate 3, 3, 3 है. Are you with me? So therefore, R bar will be written as 3I cap plus 3J cap. Happy?
Plus
Plus
3K
3K
cap.
cap. Happy?
Yes, sir.
And if I now have to take R bar cross F bar, what do I do? How do I write R bar cross F bar? R bar cross F bar is the moment of force F bar about O. And how do I write that? Determinant
IJK
J, K,
A1, A2,
coordinates of R bar 3, 3, 3,
3.
and coordinates of F bar. Do you agree?
Yes.
This is how we define cross product.
Yes.
This is the mathematical definition. Its physical implementation we are going to see in the next class. Homework, you are going to solve this and you are going to tell me now a moment of F bar about O tomorrow. Are you with me?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Now tell me, is this a vector quantity or scalar quantity? Cross product
Vector.
is vector. Are you with me?
Yes.
So therefore it is a vector quantity. What is its unit? Can you tell me? It is unit of a force that may be in Newton, kilonewton, meganewton, whatever, and unit of
Newton per
position
Newton
vector.
meter. Newton meter.
So it can be Newton meter, it can be kilonewton, mm, it can be giganewton, micro mm, anything. But it is unit of force multiplied by unit of length. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is where we are going to stop today. These 5 points were our agenda. So summary, we have defined what is a force. We have understood Newton's 3 laws. We have understood what is the complete description of a force. and we have also understood the preliminary definition of mathematical definition of moment of a force. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I'm going to send you this board on your WhatsApp for today. Once I get Microsoft Teams, then we will have OneNote. Happy?
Okay, sir.
Okay. So let us stop here today. Have a good day.
Actually,
Yeah.
sir, this
Sir.
is Sahil. Actually, I've put my attendance, but it's being sent privately to you. It's not going to everyone. I don't know why.
Yes, that's true because I have made the settings that way. So I forgot. All of you, please mention your roll number and full name in the chat box. That will be
Yes.
sent only to me. Do that and then leave the meeting.
Yeah, yes, sir. It's done.
Sir, we have sent you PRN underscore our name, the roll
That's
number.
fine. That works. That's okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay. Chalo,
Thank
have a
you,
good
sir.
day. Now soon, are you registered on Canvas?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes, sir.
do you see mechanics course there?
We haven't checked, so I'll tell you.
Okay, please check because Canvas is the platform where I'm going to share all the material. So I'm going to share soft
Sir,
copies of 2 books, reference books there.
Currently shows that no course registered.
Okay, so let us figure out, let me find out what has happened. But on that Canvas, I'm going to share soft copies of 2 reference books that you are going to follow. ओके सो लेट अस स्टॉप फॉर टुडे हैव अ गुड डे अगर आज के डिस्कशन में किसी को कुछ डाउट है तो पूछ सकते हो मीनवाइल राइट योर रोल नंबर नेम एंड देन यू कैन लीव द मीटिंग
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
यस वेलकम
Excuse me, sir.
या गो अहेड
Sir, I had a doubt. While defining force, we had defined it as action of one body on another. So here
Yes.
now we consider an example that if we consider an example of a hydraulic press, a hydraulic
Yes.
press is kept in a what we can say in in mercury in mercury. So here actually the hydraulic press will move, but mercury can we consider it as an object?
yes you have to consider these as 2 separate bodies
Okay, okay.
yes
Because
so
despite
fluid
mercury being
and
a
then
gas.
the fluid and then the platen these are the 2 separate bodies that you have to consider
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Neil, have you written your name and roll number in chat box?
Yes, sir. I have written.
Okay. So I will end the
Thank you,
meeting.
sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.